When I first came to America, I felt very alone and very frightened because at that time I didn't speak any word in English. For example, I needed to know how to get to a place, but sometimes it was not enough to say with my signs or with my hands. Many times I got lost in the streets. Many times I cried.
Our God has done something remarkable. For years we have prayed for people who are far away, but now He has brought them near. And so He's given every one of us the opportunity to reach out to those from the nations that He's brought near. So Acts 17:26 and 27 tells us that God is the one that determines the boundaries of people's dwelling places, and that He allows the movement of people so that they might seek Him and perhaps find Him. But that doesn't happen in a vacuum. It only happens if those of us who claim to love Him will reach out to those that He has brought near in order to help them to come to discover Him.
ESL is important for a church because two of Jesus' great commands come together in this one ministry. We can literally now reach the nations by simply loving our neighbor. And every church should reflect the local community around it. And because God has sent the nations to our doorstep, our communities are multicultural now, and our church should start looking that way too.
When I go to the supermarket, for example, and I want to ask for something that sometimes I don't know how to order, so I stand behind a person and I listen how they ask, and I repeat the same. No, I try to do my best.
So in our main classes, we call them life skill classes. So we're going to be using secular curriculum that teaches the vocabulary that they're going to need to know every day. What vocabulary do I need to know to make a doctor's appointment or to go see the doctor? Or what vocabulary do I need to fill out a job application or during an interview or to ask for directions or to shop at the grocery store? So it's all the everyday vocabulary that you and I take for granted that they need help with.
Good! You don't have to have a degree, you just have to love the students, because really that's what you're doing, is loving the students and giving them the opportunity to learn English. Yeah, so if you know English and you know how to move your hands around and you know how to hold up objects, that's pretty much all you really need to do. You don't have to worry about translating. They will understand if you give them something concrete and repeat the words over and over in conversation, in games, in chants. And by the end of the 2 hours, they've said those vocabulary words 80 times.
When I came to America, basically in 1970, so I was so afraid and fearful. How am I able to communicate or live?
Many people have heard this by now, but Houston is statistically the most diverse city in the nation. And so because of that, whenever we first started thinking about, talking about ESL, casting vision for us beginning it, from all that I heard and encountered from our people, from our elders, deacons, from church members, was a willingness to do this, an excitement about it. We ought to do this. These are our neighbors, and we've wanted to reach out to them. We've thought about it. We just haven't known how to do it. And now that ESL seems like a great ministry vehicle to help us to do that.
ESL ministry is a really important ministry to our community. For us, it's been a great tool to share the Gospels, to teach immigrants like me to learn English as a second language. Because when you come to the States, it's really important that you speak English. Because if you don't speak it, it's really hard to find jobs, it's really hard to communicate, and also it's really hard to make new friends.
ESL is a Word and Deed ministry. You have the students coming in and you're not just teaching them English, you're getting to know them. They're allowing you to see parts of their lives that they might not share with other people that they work with. And you find out the needs that they have. We've had several students have babies. When the pandemic hit, we had a lot of students get COVID right at the beginning. We had a lot of students who weren't able to work. So being able to provide meals and some help for them to get groceries, that was a huge part of the ESL ministry.
Part of the blessing that comes out when you're teaching English as a second language or interacting with someone from a different culture, you end up discovering something about humanity when you realize there's all these apparent barriers, but they're not real barriers. We're fellow humans created in the image of God. So I think that the result is there is a real an emotional connection, a real relationship, a real care for and love for one another that develops. And what a great opportunity to not only practically help, but share the gospel and to grow in our love for God's people all around the world.
I think that it's important for us to recognize that when we get to heaven, there will be people from all over the world speaking all different languages, that God does not favor one nationality over another, and that we need to be demonstrating that as well. So while it's important to do ministry to people that are like you and are living similarly to you, it's also important to reach out to people who are different. I think that that stretches us in a different way.
We do not know their stories when they first walk into our class. And some of them have been through immense heartache and persecution that I cannot even imagine or dream for myself. And it is not my place in any way to judge them or to think that I am more worthy than them. It's not my place to judge why they are here in America, but God has given us all of these blessings here. And why would we not want to share that with them?
Nancy, my teacher, she opened her house, not even her house, her heart for me. And she listened me, take care of me. She worried about what happened to me and helped me in this country with a new culture, then a new language that I know I'm still learning. And she's made my life totally different. Before this church family, I was alone. I know today I am a part of something. This is very important to me.
You will be a blessing to your students, but honestly, your students are going to be a bigger blessing to you than you ever imagined possible. One of the biggest blessings of my entire life has been the love that God has sent to me through the conduit of my students. They have helped me when I'm sick. They have encouraged me when I'm sad. They have laughed with me. They are truly part of my family now.
I love teaching ESL because I get to see God at work through me, in me. It's just such a privilege. I never thought I'd have that experience. And yet God keeps giving me these opportunities to step forward and trust Him and do things I never thought I could do. Share the gospel with people, teach people English, relate to people I don't know anything about, and develop those relationships. I never thought He would give me that opportunity, and I consider it such a privilege to see Him at work in me.